Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, we'll be discussing about International Monetary Fund. So, International Monetary Fund. So, we can say this is an important topic for all competitive examination as it is included under the international relations and economic sections. So, in this session, we'll be discussing about the origin of International Monetary Fund and also about the controlling bodies of IMF. So, International Monetary Fund, which in short it is called as IMF, it was initiated or it was formed in the year 1944 at Bretton Woods Conference. IMF, it came into operation on 27th December 1945 and it is today an international organization that consists of 189 member countries and it is headquartered at Washington, D.C. IMF focuses on fostering global monetary cooperation, securing financial stability, facilitating and promoting international trade, employment and economic growth around the world. The IMF is a specialized agency of United Nations. So, IMF, International Monetary Fund, it is a specialized agency of United Nations and the year of formation is 1945 and it is headquartered at Washington, D.C., USA. It sees to the sector through monetary or finance sector. So, India is also a member of International Monetary Fund. So, remember, India is a member of International Monetary Fund. Now, let's discuss how this International Monetary Fund or the IMF has formed. So, the breakdown of international monetary cooperation during the Great Depression, it led to the development of International Monetary Fund. So, International Monetary Fund, it aimed at improving economic growth and to reduce the poverty around the world. So, the International Monetary Fund, it was initially formed at Bretton Woods. So, in the Bretton Woods Conference in the year 1944 and the 45 government representatives were present at the conference to discuss a framework for post-war international economic cooperation. And then IMF became operational from 27th December 1945 with 29 member countries that agreed to bond to this treaty. So, it began its financial operations on 1st March 1947 and currently the IMF, it consists of 189 member countries. The IMF is regarded as a key organization of the international economic system which focuses on rebuilding the international capital along with maximizing the national economic sovereignty and human welfare. Now let's discuss about the structure of International Monetary Fund. So let's see how it is organized. The United Nations, it is said to be the parent organization that handles the proper functioning and administration of the IMF. So, the IMF is headed by a managing director who is elected by the executive board for a term of 5 years, and the International Monetary Fund consists of a board of governors ministerial committees and the executive board. So, board of governors. The roles and responsibility of this board of governors are: each governor of the board of governors is appointed by his or her respective member countries. The board of governors elects or appoints executive directors of the board. So the board of the governors, they appoint the executive directors to the executive board. So the board of governors is advised by IMFC, that is International Monetary and Financial Committee, and the Development Committee. So they are advised by IMFC and the Development Committee. And an annual meetup between the board of governors and the World Bank group is conducted during the IMF, that is the World Bank annual meetings, to discuss the work of their respective institutions. Next is ministerial committees. So ministerial committees, it has two groups: International Monetary and Financial Committee, and one more is Development Committee. So these two committees, it manages the international monetary and financial system, and it amends the articles of the agreement to solve the issues in the developing countries that are related to economic development. Next is executive board. So this executive board, it has 24 member board. So it is a 24 member board that discusses all the aspects of the fund. So the board normally makes decisions which is based on consensus, but sometimes formal votes are also taken. So what are the objectives of IMF? IMF was developed as an initiative to promote international monetary cooperation, to enable international trade, achieve financial stability, stimulate high employment, diminish poverty in the world, and sustain economic growth. Initially, there were 29 countries with a goal of redoing the global payment system, and today the organization has 189 members. The main objective of International Monetary Fund is to improve and promote global monetary cooperation of the world, to secure financial stability by eliminating or minimizing the exchange rate stability, and also to facilitate a balanced international trade, and to promote high employment through economic assistance and sustainable economic growth, and also to reduce the poverty around the world. So these are the objectives of IMF. Now let's discuss the functions of IMF. So IMF, it mainly focuses on supervising the international monetary system along with providing credits to member countries. The functions of IMF, it can be categorized into three types. The first one is regulatory functions. So the IMF functions as a regulatory body, and as per the rules of the articles of agreement, it also focuses on administering a code of conduct. Administering a code of conduct for exchange rate policies. For exchange rate policies and restrictions on payment for current account transactions. The second type is about financial functions. The second function is the financial functions. IMF provides financial support and resources to the member countries to meet short-term and medium-term balance of payment disequilibrium. And the third function is consultative functions. IMF, it is a center for international cooperation for the member countries. So it also acts as a source of counsel and technical assistance. So now let's see the relationship between India and IMF. So India, it is a founder member of IMF, and India's Union Finance Minister is the ex officio governor. India's Union Finance Minister is ex officio governor of IMF's Board of Governors. So each member country also has an alternate governor. The alternate governor for India is the governor of RBI. The governor of RBI, he is the alternate governor of IMF. So apart from this, there is also an executive director for India who represents the country at IMF. India's quota in the IMF is 13,114.4 million. That gives India a shareholding of 2.75%, and this makes India the 8th largest quota holding country at the organization. So in 2000, India completed the repayment of all the loans it had taken from IMF. Now India is a contributor to IMF. The emerging economies, it had gained more influence in the governance architecture of International Monetary Fund. So the reforms were agreed upon by then 188 members of IMF in the year 2010, that is in the year 2010, in the aftermath of the global financial meltdown. So more than 6% of the quota shares, it will shift to emerging and developing countries from the US and the European countries. So talking about the voting rights, India's voting rights increased to 2.6% from the current 2.3%, and China's voting rights increased to 6% from 3.8%. Russia and Brazil are the other two countries that gain from the reforms. So this is all about IMF, that is the International Monetary Fund. See you all in the next session with some other topic. Thank you.